जे भारत, अफगाणिस्तान आणि युनायटेड स्टेट्स अशा तिघांच्या मधून आणि इवन पाकिस्तान फॉर दैट से तो मोस्टली द कंटेंट जो है वो यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स और अफगानिस्तान के बीच में जो चल रहा है अभी डिस्कशन इंट्रा अफगान निगोशिएशन जिसको हम बोल रहे हैं उसके तहत भारत पे उसकी क्या इम्प्लीकेशंस होंगे और पूरी मतलब जो पाकिस्तान है और इंडिया पाकिस्तान के रिलेशन इंडिया के क्या इम्पैक्ट्स होंगे इंडिया का क्या रिएक्शन है ये सब हम देखेंगे तो टॉपिक का नाम इंट्रा अफगान निगोशिएशंस ओके नाउ what was the news basically today in Hindu there was a small news on the first page and in enter when you go into the other pages you find there is a detailed what has been said but we need to first of all understand everything about this so today's lecture is like a story timeline where we will start from 2019-99 actually and we will come to 2020 now that part is not required for examination but to have a concrete basis of this topic it will be required now again I am telling you this topic will continue for a longer time okay like this topic will continue till your mains there will be some new additions and all those things we are not sure that when we can actually have an agreement on this thing okay because there are a lot of uncertainties into this topic but what we are interested into is looking it from the India's perspective so we have to understand that what are the changes that can happen okay or what are the implications that India will be having or on the Pakistan or on the Afghanistan and all those negotiations and all those things so just the news was very brief okay that 3 days after India took a plunge on engaging with the Taliban at the first intra-Afghan negotiations US Special Envoy on Afghanistan Zalmay Khalilzad met with External Affairs Minister Jay Shankar National Security Advisor and Foreign Secretary Harsh Shringla during a brief 4-hour visit to Delhi now, the meetings are going on in Doha. Remember, this is a point for the prelims, okay? Intra-negotiations, intra-Afghan negotiations are held in Doha. Okay, now why Doha? Because Doha is a place where there is an office of Taliban. Okay, Taliban's office वहाँ से consider किया जाता है, so उसकी वजह से. So what are the contents of the lecture? First of all, obviously we will see what is the relevance. Then we will move on to understand what is the Afghan peace procedure, peace process. So we will go through the timeline in detail. Once we get into the timeline, then we will move on to understand the present scenario, that is intra-Afghan negotiations. What are the challenges? What are the concerns? Okay, and then we will move on to the India's section again. Okay, India-Afghanistan relations, then India-US with perspective of the Afghanistan, and then finally to the conclusion. So again, this will be a long lecture. I hope you are all prepared for that. Okay, now let's begin with the relevance. In the mains examination in General Studies paper 2, you find there is a topic India and its neighborhood relations. So obviously neighborhood relations, it may not direct question. Obviously we have a neighborhood with the Afghanistan. We have a border with Afghanistan and we consider it to be our neighborhood. Okay, there is angle of Afghanistan. Okay, Afghanistan, then Pakistan, even China, okay, and then obviously the larger blocks like global groupings and agreements. This is directly there. So India are affecting India's interest. So obviously this agreement in intra-Afghan negotiations, IAN, are directly impacting the India's interest in the regional area. So obviously all those countries are also having some kind of stake directly, indirectly. We are going to have repercussions on them, that all part. Now then in prelims specifically, whatever the negotiations and all those things are there, but specifically India-Afghanistan relations, and in that specifically India's interest in the Afghanistan. Okay, India has invested a lot in Afghanistan, so you need to know where it has invested, or if there is something new investment that is coming on and all those things. So you will have to go through the developments here already. So what is the target today is that we have to establish ourselves, okay, conceptually, very properly as to how we are going to, what you can say, look into topics and all those things. Okay, moving on. So let's start with first understanding as to what is Afghan peace process. Okay, now it is the Afghan peace process. Obviously, you know, okay, there was Taliban and all those things. I will go through the timeline, so obviously you will get to know everything. So Afghan peace process comprises the proposals and negotiations in a bid to end the ongoing war in Afghanistan. So the war is going on. Okay, right now you may see what kind of war is going on in Afghanistan. Okay, United States is there. There is Taliban. Taliban is attacking some forces. regions and all those things. Then there is a Afghanistan government already. So we can simply say from our viewpoint or from the Afghanistan people's point of view, it is a mess over there right now. Okay, and this has started very early. Okay, ये आज का नहीं है, ये बहुत पहले से है. मतलब some of you may not have been born in 1999, तब से लेके है. So obviously you have to understand what are the problems and all those things. So that's why I'm taking you to the timeline, not even if it is not required in the timeline, still it is there. Now, sporadic efforts were beginning since the 2001. When the 2001, specifically after the United States attacked Afghanistan for overthrowing the Taliban government, so that the culpritors or the people responsible for the 9/11 will be brought to justice. Okay, so with that reason, in 2001, it started with 2001 on itself. Negotiations and peace movement intensified in 2018. Now, from 2001 to 2018, you will, when I go through the timeline, you will find how many hiccups are there. Okay, once they will say we will withdraw the army, otherwise they will say we will enforce the army. Then there are 3 precedents that we are going to see, like the 8 years of for 8 years of George Bush, 8 years of Obama administration, and some 4 years now, almost completing the 4 years, okay, of the Donald Trump. So there are 3 presidents whose 3 policies have been different somewhere or the other. So there has not been a concurrent proposals or agreement reached that right now. But we are having a positive side, because in February 2020, the agreement was signed between the Taliban and the United States government that they will reach out to certain consensus. We will go through that. That is the important part of discussion. Okay, so movement intensified in 2018 amid talks between the Taliban, which is the main insurgent group fighting against the Afghan government, and American troops. Okay, and the United States, of which 20,000 soldiers maintain a presence within the country to support the Afghan government. So right now, Afghan government is there, but there are almost 20,000 soldiers, okay, more of United States, which are there to support the government, because if soldiers are leaving the Afghanistan government, the Taliban may take over the Afghan government. Okay, Taliban has that capability. So obviously, United States soldiers have to be present there. Now, these soldiers, obviously, when they are going to be, the whole concern is when are these soldiers going to be removed from the Afghanistan. So once the soldiers are removed, but you can remove the soldiers only when you have a concrete idea that, okay, this Afghan government, there will be peace in Afghanistan, there will be democracy in the Afghanistan. All the stakeholders in the Afghanistan are there, what you can say, are agreeing to that. Okay, so what we have to understand over here, it is mostly this soldiers issue, and why the soldiers are not being withdrawn, because the Afghan government may be in danger. So if Afghan government is going to be in danger, there is no point, like whatever the war has been fought for. Okay, tomorrow the Afghanistan soldiers leave the Afghanistan, then all the work that has been done in 20 years, it will be waste. Actually saying Afghanistan right now is like a mess. Okay, just like Iraq. Okay, what the United States did over there. Once they created a, what you can say, first of all, they said that there are weapons of mass destruction. Okay, then there were no weapons of mass destruction. They overthrew Saddam Hussein government. They created one government, but there are certain insurgent groups that are always raising their hands. So if that is the case, okay, that can happen even in Afghanistan, or that has actually happened. So one way or the other, we can say United States doesn't know actually how to deal with the Afghanistan issue. Okay, because dealing with Taliban itself is a dangerous connotation from India's viewpoint. Like if I have to tell you, okay, now what they are doing, they are dealing with Taliban, right? And you fought the war to overthrow the Taliban because Taliban was supporting the Al-Qaeda, right? So all it is messed up. Okay, so United States may seem to be very powerful, but what has happened? Actually, in all this process, a lot of mess has been created. Okay, so what is Taliban? If those who all don't know, because you don't come from that generation where when the Taliban and all those things were there, or even they are today, but just we hear the names only from the perspective of one attack has been carried out by Taliban. Like recently, there was an attack carried out on Gurudwara in Kabul, right? You must be knowing that. So what is that Taliban? So Taliban is referred to as refers to itself as an Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. Is a Sunni Islamic organization that operates in Afghanistan, a country in Central Asia, South Asia. That you know. This is Wikipedia definition of Taliban. You don't need to remember the definition. Okay, just remember it was there. Now, when did the Taliban emerge? It emerged in 1994, taking advantage of power vacuum that was left following the aftermath of Afghan civil war. Again, you don't require this information, but just remember it emerged in 1990s. Okay, 1994 में वो emerge हुआ, and it took into the power and all those things, because there was a lot of mess going on again. Okay, so at that period also, Afghan civil war, and Taliban took the emerges. Mostly these were the college going students from the Pakistan and that region, so they became powerful later. Okay, now let us see the timeline. Okay, now again I'm telling you, you don't require this timeline anyway for the examination. I'm just giving you a timeline to create a base to tell you how messed up the things are. Okay, so starting with October 15, 1999. I have searched a lot, and then I'm putting this all in front of you. I think this is visible to you, right? Is it visible? Okay, you don't even need that, but just some certain points I will tell you, and that dates or that years you can actually underline basically or remember that. So first thing, in 15th October 15, 1999, an Al Qaeda and Taliban nexus. So it was for the first time that an Al Qaeda is supported by the Taliban was, what you can say, accepted, and the United Nations Security Council adopted the resolution, whatever it is, created the so-called Al Qaeda and Taliban Sanctions Committee, which links the two groups as terrorist entities and imposes sanctions on their funding, travel, and arms shipment. So by 19, which emerged in 1994, in 1999, Al Qaeda and Taliban are considered as a terrorist group. So this is the beginning. Okay, now you all know on 11th September 2001. Okay, the United States, like I think 2-3, like there is a 19 years almost. Okay, so United States was attacked, and it went worst of the attack. So Al Qaeda operatives hijacked 4 commercial airlines, crashing them into the WTC in the New York Pentagon and all those things. Okay, so 4 aircrafts, they created such a mess. Again, it was the worst of the terrorist attacks. Now India was suffering the terrorist attacks before that, but United States first of all realized, okay, there is something called terrorism after that, बिकॉज उनकी सॉइल पे कभी टेररिस्ट अटैक नहीं हुआ था उससे पहले. उनके एम्बेसी को बॉम्ब किया गया था लिबिया एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स में, अल्जीरिया में, लेकिन उनकी जमीन पे उन पे हमला. एंड जस्ट इमेजिन दोस प्लेन्स एंटरिंग इनटू द डब्ल्यूटीसी. सो दैट वाज एन हॉरिफिक पिक्चर. ओके, यू विल नॉट बी नोइंग, अगर डॉक्यूमेंट्रीज आप देखोगे तो उसमें इवन द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स वाज नॉट श्योर व्हाट इज हैपनिंग. Okay, and he had to be taken into bunker. He was not allowed to be taken in the White House. So that mess it was there. So obviously what was found out that this terrorists, they were not Afghanis, understand, they were not what is that, but the Al Qaeda was supported by the Taliban. That is the point. Okay, now on September 18, 2001, here is the point where George W. Bush, so as I told you, George Bush, Barack Obama, and Donald Trump, there's 3 presidencies, three policies. So President George Bush signs into a law, a joint resolution authorizing the use of force against those responsible for attacking. Now this created a base. Okay, now why this resolution was important? Because this created a base for further war. That is what they call war on global terrorism. Remember, so this resolution over there in their administration and their executive order. Okay, so the war on global terrorism, this resolution became the base for declaring the war on global terrorism. And on the October 7, 2001, okay, that was the day when United States military with the British support began bombing campaign against Taliban forces. So that was the October 7, 2001. Just again, you don't need to remember. Just think 2001 is when you have sanctioned the military actions against the Afghanistan, or against, we can say, Taliban government at that time. Okay, against the Taliban government, officially launching Operation Enduring Freedom. Canada, Australia, Germany, and France pledged the further support. So even NATO was involved in the later stages. So remember, 2001 attacks. Now these earlier attacks were mostly, what you can say, the aerial attacks. Later on, after somewhere around 2-3 weeks later, then the army moved into. So on the land, it was later. So first of all, it was the bombings that happened in the Afghanistan. Now moving on from there, in November 2001 itself, the Taliban was seen in a retreat mode. Okay, the Taliban, because see, obviously Taliban, whatever it may be, but still United States is one of the biggest armed forces, and it is not simple to deal with that. So Taliban came in retreat. The Taliban regime unravels rapidly after its loss of Mazar-e-Sharif. It is one of the important places, and that led to the decline. Now here is Taliban, which is in retreat. Okay, on November 9, 2001, to force loyal to the Abdul Rashid Dostum, an ethnic Uzbek military leader. Why I have taken you this point is very important. See, Afghanistan is not like other countries. Okay, Afghanistan or Middle East or Central Asia, you can say. There are various tribes. and one's affiliation is toward the tribe, not towards the directly, like we cannot say their affiliation is to the nation. Okay, one is affiliated towards the tribes. So Uzbek, Kurdish, and all those things. So you always, whenever you come across Middle East, you will find the name of the tribe. So these tribals, they had their loyalties to different levels. Okay, so understand, ethnic Uzbek military leader. Okay, so why? Only for that reason, to tell you that Afghanistan is composed of large number of ethnic diversity. Okay, and this ethnic diversity, they will have their own agendas. So that is even relevant today. Okay, that's why the name. Now in 2001, specifically December 2001 May, like starting from, if you start from 7th of October to December 2001, an interim government was proclaimed. Okay, interim government means temporary government in simplest word. After the fall of Kabul in November 2001, the United Nations invite major Afghan factions, most prominently the Northern Alliance and group led by former king, but not the Taliban, to conference in Bonn, Germany. So what is happening? To create an interim government, United Nations is taking the initiative, and it is inviting almost all the major factions in the Afghanistan, okay, except the Taliban, because Taliban was in power, and Taliban at that time had a, see, understand the dilemma over here. In 2001, no one is ready to take Taliban. Okay, no one is ready to take the Taliban into discussions and all those things. And in 2020, after like 19 years, we are having a deal with the Taliban. Okay, so that is where the mess is, basically, if you understand. So it is like underestimating the power of Taliban. And for India, it becomes more complicated. Okay, like why it becomes complicated, we will come to that. So yeah, I hope you have got it. On December 5, 2001, the factions signed the Bonn Agreement endorsed by the United Nations Security Council 1383. So believe that. The agreement reached with the substantial Iranian diplomatic help because of Iran's support for the Northern Alliance. Northern Alliance is one of the faction. I'm just giving you the examples of action. Again, I'm telling you, you don't need this part for the exam. I'm just creating a base for what is to be written in the future time, in the times. It installed Hamid Karzai as an interim administration head and created an international peacekeeping force to maintain security in Kabul. The Bonn Agreement is followed by United Nations Security Council 1386 on December 20, which establishes the International Security Assistance Force, or ISF. So that is the point. Now, interim government tak aa gaya ho. By December 2009, the Taliban completely collapses. Okay, the end of Taliban regime is generally tied to this state. When the Taliban surrender Kandahar, and Taliban leader Mullah Omar flees the city, leaving it under the tribal law administered by the Pashtun leaders. So here you are. In 2001 itself, Taliban collapses as a government. As a government. Even today, there is a Taliban. There are various fractions in the Taliban itself. But as a government, this date you can consider that the Taliban has collapsed. Okay, and now there is, Taliban is not governing the state. So that is something different. So it is after they surrendered the Kandahar. Okay. By 2002, George Bush decides, okay, now that we have to work on the reconstruction of Afghanistan. That is the point. June 2002, a transitional government was named, transitional phase. So temporary again. Hamid Karzai, important name, chairman of Afghanistan's interim administration since 2001, December 2001, because at that conference, Hamid Karzai was elected as the, what you can say, chairman of all those body and all that. Is picked to head the country's transitional government. So Hamid Karzai, who later gets elected. By 2002, establishing a reconstruction model, the US military creates a civil affairs framework to coordinate redevelopment with United Nations and to expand US authority of the Kabul government. Now see, understand, this is an important point from the India's viewpoint. Okay, India's viewpoint. Now what happened? Obviously, if reconstruction has to be done, okay, you need a security over there. Okay, now who is to provide you a security? So obviously what is done for reconstruction and redevelopment from the security's point of view, US military creates a civil affairs framework. Okay, and that was supposed to coordinate with the UN and non-governmental organizations. In this period, what happened? Do you know India is the largest contributor of developmental work in Afghanistan? Okay, now see here, it is why India is investing, because India has some stakes. Okay, whatever, like India, for you need to be close to the Afghanistan if you have to manage the balance the power between Pakistan and all those things. Good relations with Afghanistan is always a good side for India. Okay, but then now what will happen? Just imagine. Now India has invested a lot. There is a lot of India's investment, and United States is leaving. Taliban is coming, and Taliban is in a way hostile to India. Okay, so that's why this topic becomes important. Okay, the major combat over 2003. Now again, major combat is over because till then Taliban may have left, but Taliban was still attacking here and there and here and there. So nothing major over there. In January 2004, a constitution for Afghanistan was drafted. Okay, just remember 2004 constitution for the Afghanistan. So you will have, I'm just giving you all the things about the Afghanistan over here. Assembly of 502 Afghan delegates agree on a constitution for Afghanistan, creating a strong presidential system. See, 502 Afghan delegates demanding presidential system intended to unite the country, various ethnic groups. Okay, there, as I told you, Afghanistan is all about the ethnic group. The powerful ethnic group that you have on your side is going to act for you, or is, if you have those on your side, then you are having a, what you can say, upper hand in those things. The act is seen as positive step towards the democracy. Afghan have seized the opportunity by the United States and its international partners to lay the foundation for democratic institutions and provide a framework for national elections. This was what declared by the United States ambassador to the Afghanistan. In October 9, 2004, the historic national voting happened. More than 55%, many people voted, basically around 53 or 55% people voted, and out of that vote, Hamid Karzai, please, whoever it is, Saurabh, please mute yourself. Okay. So, 50th Hamid Karzai wins the election. Now, this is a historic moment, understand. A government, a country torn out with the wars and civil wars, then foreign attacks. Okay, now it is going for voting and the democratically elected government is coming out. So, that is the thing. Now, after that, what is happening? So, the story doesn't end over here. Now, there is a government, but on whose support? The government is obviously on the support of United States, because government is having no resources of its own. Like, for example, for developmental work, it has to agree on the India and all those things. Okay. For defense related works, it has to depend on the, for defense services and all those things, United States is there to support it. So Afghanistan has to be created by the world now. And there, whichever the countries played a significant role, they're supposed to have more stakes over there. So Afghanistan, India played a significant role, again and again repeating over here. Okay. So, but then the bloody resurgence after 2004, again the Taliban rises and the violence begins. Okay, violence across, because Taliban is not in government, but that doesn't mean Taliban is not existing. Okay, so there is a violence that is starting, and that violence, you can say, continues even today. And that is the point. That's why, and obviously no one is able to control the violence. Okay, no one is able to control the violence. And because of these reasons, actually, what you have to do is you have to sign an agreement with the Taliban, because Taliban is showing its power. Okay, so now in 2006, NATO, the organization, North Atlantic Territorial Organization, summit in Riga, this is the first time where someone is saying that we have to pull out our forces from the Afghanistan. Okay, and they set a, NATO's one of the commanders set a target of 2008 for Afghan National Army to begin taking control of the security. Important point, and this is after 7 years of the Afghanistan war. And in 2008, they say that by this time now we have to create an Afghan National Army, and that Afghan National Army will take the responsibility of control of security over there. Now here is Barack Obama gets elected, and Barack Obama is coming back, and new president Barack Obama announces plans to send 17,000 more troops to the war zone. So what he is doing to maintain the peace, he's sending more forces. Okay, but he again reaffirms that we will bring down the forces from the Afghanistan by the end of 2011. Okay, now new American strategy arises with that period. And what is new American strategy? President Obama announces a new strategy for the war effort, linking success in Afghanistan to a stable Pakistan. This is interesting. Okay, remember this. That's why it is important for us also. Wherever there is Pakistan, we have to get involved. So what is he saying, Obama? And this is positive step, because Obama administration recognized that by this time, that if you don't have a Pakistan which is stable, so Pakistan can act as a safe haven for this terrorist. So what you have to do is you have to first of all defeat the Pakistan in its, or support the Pakistan in its fights against the terrorism, which is like illusionary kind of thing. We all know Bin Laden was just there near the Pakistan Military Academy in the Abbottabad. Okay, so obviously the strategy is changing. So stable Pakistan is now the American strategy. The core goal of strategy, as outlined in the interagency white paper, is to disrupt, mantle, and defeat Al Qaeda and its safe havens in Pakistan, and prevent their return to Pakistan or Afghanistan. So whoever they are, dismantle them, destroy them, or defeat them, and look into that they are not returning again to Afghanistan. Otherwise, like tomorrow USA is gone again from Pakistan. If there are infiltrators into Afghanistan, then again the same problem. So this proves actually our point that Pakistan has always acted as a safe haven for the terrorist activities. Even today we are saying that, right? And we all know the biggest lie was that Bin Laden was found in Pakistan, not in the Afghanistan, and Bin Laden had escaped in 2001 itself. So since what, how much time he was living in the Pakistan? So what was other agencies doing, like ISI and all those things, their agencies? Okay. The strategy urges the passage of increased aid to Pakistan and a strict standard of major progress in fighting Al Qaeda. So they changed the strategy and all those things. And even the Afghanistan welcomed this strategy because by that time they recognize Pakistan somehow or the other is supporting this. Moving on, in 2009, now this is again interesting. Hamid Karzai again wins the election for the second term. Okay, Afghan war again. Obama announces major escalation of U.S. mission. In a national televised speech, the president commits an additional 30,000 forces. So again, they are at one side, they are saying they will decrease the forces and they are sending the forces. So all the issue is about removing those forces, but see how there is a paradox into it. And timetable for security transition, it was agreed to be 2014 that full responsibility of Afghanistan will be given to Afghan forces by the end of 2014. Again, nothing happened. But here is 2011. Obama again outlines a plan to withdraw 33,000 troops by the summer of 2012. Again, new target. The point is just telling you the new target. The surge troops sent in December 2009, including 10,000 by the end of 2011. So removal of force again. Now, this is important point, I remember. Bonn Conference, okay, in 2011. 10 years after the first international conference that discussed Afghanistan's political future. If you remember, 2001. Okay, in December, again, 2001, there was a Bonn conference. Now, again, there is a Bonn conference. Dozens of countries and organizations met again in Bonn, Germany, to devise a roadmap of cooperation between the international troop withdrawal in 2014. So, again, 2014 was set as a target. We will remove it. Afghan President Hamid Karzai says the country will require 10 billion annually over the next decade to shore up security and reconstruction and commits to tackling corruption. So, all this was there to lay blueprint for Afghanistan's transition to self-sustaining and secure government. As the insurgency continues to rage and Pakistan, a crucial player, refuses to attend. Okay, now what is happening? Pakistan did not attend it because, again, but whatever the Pakistan issues. In March 2012, Taliban cancels talks. US-Afghan tensions flare. In January, the Taliban strikes a deal to open an office in Qatar. Now, this is why I told you why in Doha these INA are happening. So Taliban decided that they will open an office in Qatar, a move towards peace talks that the United States sees as a crucial part of political settlement to ensure the stable Afghanistan. But 2 months later, the Taliban suspends preliminary talks, accusing Washington of re-engaging on promises to take meaningfully steps towards prisoner swap. So now the point, now we are coming to our point. Where does it actually begin that you are going to talk with Taliban? Okay, it is beginning in 2012 itself. Now, why it will be happening? See, I will tell you an example. In 2012 also, I taught this topic. Okay, same topic. I taught it in 2012 also. Sorry, in 2013, I taught this topic. Again, the same perspectives and all those things. From 2013 to this meeting, what has changed from the India's point of view? See, in 2012, it was said that this is a dangerous idea. That what was the United States doing in 2012? They were classifying the Taliban into 2 categories. Really, if you go and archives and search the Taliban news of 2012, United States was classifying the Taliban into 2 groups, like extremist, okay, excessively extremist, and the moderates. Okay, now this is like, are you classifying Indian National Congress over here or what? Okay, this is a Taliban and you're classifying Taliban into extremist and moderate. So less extremist. They used to use the word like less extremist, moderates, and all those things for Taliban. Now, once you have recognized Taliban as a terrorist organization, maybe Taliban may not do for something in the Afghanistan, but what about the global security then? राइट तालिबान को कैसे क्लासिफाई कर सकते हो एक्सट्रीमिस्ट है मॉडरेट है मतलब वो गोली चलाता है ये बॉम्ब डालता है ऐसे तो थोड़ी ना क्लासिफिकेशन होगा इफ इट इज अ टेररिस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन That is United Nations declared. Now, because you are not able to handle the situation in Afghanistan, and you know by sure now that you cannot handle it any further without involving Taliban, what you are doing, you are starting a talk with Taliban. So isn't it a policy failure on the part of United States? Will you agree on this? Like, this is a failure basically, that you fought the war against Taliban and now you are dealing with Taliban itself. And the government that is established right now, the government ka situation aisa hai, it is led by the fractions. There were two presidents in Afghanistan, okay, few months before, okay, because the one was not agreeing on the election results. So this is where the point begins actually. So first they start Qatar mein office, Doha. So somewhere or the other, people have started to recognize Taliban. And that is very dangerous from India's point of view, understand? Because that Taliban, extremist or moderate Taliban, whichever Taliban United States wants to classify, but that Taliban is going to be close with the Pakistan or India. It is going to be more close to the Pakistan. So Pakistan carry out India-related activities through them. So that is the point. अंडरस्टैंड सिंपल है इतना सब टाइमलाइन के बाद मैंने आपको यहाँ पे ही बता दिया एक्चुअली इशू क्या है अंडरस्टैंड फ्रॉम 2012 में 13 में मैंने ये टॉपिक पढ़ाया था एंड आई रिमेंबर दैट आई जस्ट सो दैट्स व्हाई आई वेंट बैक एंड आई फाउंड आउट द टाइमलाइन फ्रॉम इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स कि ये कितना मेस्ड अप चीज है ओके सो मूविंग ऑन आई होप यू आर गेटिंग एनी क्वेश्चंस अप टिल नाउ आई होप यू आर गेटिंग द इशू ओके अगेन नॉट इंपॉर्टेंट टाइमलाइन it is just creating a base once and for all. Moving on, Taliban cancelled talks. That was the point that we discussed. Now moving on. In 2014, again Obama announces that we will withdraw the forces, but then again 2016. So हो क्या रहा है? 2008 शुरू हुआ, फिर 9 आया, 11 आया, 12 आया, 16 तक आए. और आप क्या बोल रहे हैं? We will withdraw most of the forces from the United States. Okay, see how the presidents have. So, आप United States का failure, मैं like we are recording this lecture and somewhere or the other, directly कोई नहीं बोल सकता ना ऐसे United States is powerful, but here is the failure of United States. Okay, because they were not able to create a stable government which will be existing after the United States left the Afghanistan. तो वहां पे गवर्नमेंट उन्होंने बनाया, लोगों का सपोर्ट है बोल रहे हो, तो लोगों का सपोर्ट है तो गवर्नमेंट कैसे फेल होगा? सो वहां पे दे हैव द वॉर अगेंस्ट टेररिज्म कहां सक्सेसफुल हुआ? लाइक रिसेंटली मई में काबुल में गुरुद्वारा पे अटैक हुआ. सो ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस एग्जिस्ट कर रही है ना. गेटिंग नाउ इन 2014 गनी एंड अब्दुल्ला एग्री टू यूनिटी गवर्नमेंट. नाउ टू सी गनी, अशरफ गनी एंड अब्दुल्ला, these two people fought for the elections and they never agreed because Abdullah who he challenged the what you can say authenticity of the elections. So actually by that time there were two presidents, but then again the situation was pacified and Ashraf Ghani, the newly elected president, signs a power sharing agreement with his chief opponent, that is Abdullah. Why again? Because Abdullah accused Ashraf Ghani of what you can say of the or questioned the authenticity of the elections. And then we come directly to the Trump era. And Trump, again, as you know, best of the character and the worst of the character. Trump signals prolonged Afghan war. Now, what is the change? With this, Trump actually tweeted this, frankly saying. Trump ने ये tweet किया था. President Trump outlines his Afghanistan policy in an address to troops in Arlington, saying that though his original instinct was to pull out, he will instead press ahead with an open-ended military commitment to prevent the emergence of vacuum for terrorists. So at one side he is saying मुझे दिल से तो लग रहा है कि पूरे forces में निकालूं, लेकिन दूसरी तरफ वो ये भी बोल रहा है कि लेकिन मैं फिर forces ज्यादा भी भेज सकता हूं, क्योंकि मुझे वहां पे stability लाना है. Again, and I don't want to create a vacuum for terrorists. So see the paradox. We are into third president now. मतलब at least one good thing was that Obama, this one, George Bush didn't have to deal with this. उसका सिर्फ भेजना था, निकालना नहीं था. Now you come to 2018-19, very important, okay, very, very important. Taliban launches major attack amid US escalation. Okay, now Taliban is the organized, why again? So obviously these talks are failing and they led a bold terror attack in Kabul that killed more than 115 people. So violence is again up. People amid a broader upsurge in the violence. The attack come as a Trump administration implements its Afghanistan plan, deploying troops across rural Afghanistan to Afghan brigades and launching airstrike against opium lab to try to decimate the Taliban's finances. So one side USA attacked Taliban, Taliban reciprocated with attack on in Kabul. So proving them that they are still existing. 2019, February 2019, almost after a year, negotiations between the United States and Taliban in Doha enter their highest level yet. Building on momentum that began in late 2018. 2018 में ये शुरू हुआ था discussions and all those things. The talk between US Special Envoy and the top Taliban officer center on the United States withdrawing its troops. So this is the point. Withdrawing its troops in Afghanistan in exchange for the Taliban pledging to block international terrorist groups from operating on the Afghan soil. This is the basis. Why is the United States signing an agreement with the Taliban? Because Taliban is saying that it will not allow its place or the Afghan soil to, what you can say, create international terrorist groups, or to, what you can say, support the international terrorist groups, right? Okay, so that you have to understand this. This is very important. This is the base for 2020 also. What is it? That United States will withdraw from the Afghanistan, and Taliban will pledge to block international terrorist groups from operating on the Afghan soil. So one side you will getting rid of terrorism, and one side is getting withdrawal of the troops. The ramped up diplomacy follows signals that President Trump plans to pull out 7,000 troops, about half the total US deployment. Says the United States will insist that the Taliban agree to participate in intra-Afghan dialogue, that is what we are going to discuss, on the country's political structure as well as ceasefire. So Taliban is now involved. Okay, recently जो meetings चल रही है अभी उसमें Taliban involved है. It is unclear whether Trump will condition the troop withdrawal on those terms. So let us see the And there we are for our base 2009-7. Trump, as I told you, interesting person, abruptly breaks off the peace talks after top US negotiator announced that the agreement has been reached in principle with Taliban leader. What does Trump do? He walks out, or he says that we don't want to talk. Then again, you come back in this year, and this is the base for why we are discussing. Okay, US envoy Khalilzad and Talibas Burda sign an agreement that paves the way for significant withdrawal of US troops in Afghanistan. This is the point, sir. Remember this. I am underlining. You can write it down. Includes guarantees from the Taliban that country will not be used for terrorist activities. What is the agreement? This is the agreement. Withdrawal of the drawdown, not withdrawal, complete withdrawal, drawdown of the US forces. That means you are reducing the number. Okay. The deal says intra-Afghan negotiations should be following month. So that was supposed to start in the March, but it didn't start directly in the March. But Afghan President Ghani says the Taliban must meet the government's own condition before it enters talk. Again, a paradox, right? Isn't it a paradox? USA and Taliban are on talks. Understand? USA and Taliban are on talks. Now here there is also another important stakeholder, that is the Afghan government. What is the Afghan government saying now? Okay, before USA and Taliban get into agreement, Taliban should get into agreement with the Afghan government first. Now again complication. So here is where understanding. Are you getting this? Any response? Are you getting this? Complexity समझ में आ रहा है ना? कुछ reply. Okay. So what is it? Again repeating it. USA is carrying out the talks with Taliban. They agree to certain things. But here is what the Afghan government, which is another stakeholder over there, okay, is saying that Taliban first enter into talks with us. Okay, then we will reach out to that. So again, a complication. The US-Taliban deal doesn't call for an immediate ceasefire, and in the days after its Taliban fighters carry out dozens of attacks on the Afghan security forces. So after February 2009, 2020 also, there have been attacks by the Taliban, considering all this. So this is the base, basically, remember this, for the intra-Afghan negotiations. Okay, that is this agreement signed on February 29, 2020. This paves the way for intra-Afghan negotiation, prelims also and mains also. Okay, understood what is the problem now? Okay, I hope you have understood. And now let's move on. What are these negotiations? Okay, I hope you have understood the baseline. How, again, just understand. 2008 में बोला हम निकालेंगे, फिर 11 में बोला, फिर 12 में बोला, 14 में बोला, 16 में बोला, 18 में बोला, लेकिन आपके पास कोई सॉल्यूशन नहीं है. इसकी वजह से सिचुएशन क्या है? सिचुएशन इज अ मेस्ड अप सिचुएशन. Okay, now let's see what are the issues in intra-Afghan negotiations and what they are discussing. Under the US-Taliban agreement, talks between the Afghan government and Taliban were supposed to begin on March 10, following an initial prisoner swap. Now, this is interesting. Okay, that was what was related. Afghan government will release the Talibani prisoners. So, to initiate the talks, you have to release certain prisoners. However, the Afghan government had not been consulted. Now, what is it? It is between Afghan and Taliban. Okay, but now point is what Afghan government is saying, we are not consulted on this. Okay, like understand. So complication, US is doing, Afghanistan is saying one thing, and now another thing that Afghanistan is saying, aapne humko thodi na bataya, Afghan government. We have not consulted. So now Afghanistan government is creating a problems. However, the Afghan government had not been consulted on or agreed to exchange in which the Afghan government would commit to release 5,000 Talibani prisoners and Taliban would release 1,000 Afghan security forces. So इन दोनों का prisoner swap करना था, लेकिन अफगान गवर्नमेंट को यूएस ने कंसल्ट नहीं किया, ऐसा अफगान गवर्नमेंट का कहना है. इसकी वजह से वो शुरू नहीं हुआ. As a result, the prisoner exchange immediately became a contentious issue. That is first point. What are the challenges? Despite initial agreements over prisoner exchange as well as ongoing Taliban attack on Afghan government forces, however, the Taliban and Afghan government began to discuss a timeline and location for intra-Afghan talks. So in spite of all the tensions, what is happening? They started to talk on what should be the timeline and where we should be talking this. And in March 2020, the Afghan government named 21-member negotiation team. Okay, 21-member negotiating team for talks comprised of politicians, former officials, and representatives of civil society, including 5 women. Now, this is interesting. Why? I will tell you later. So now what you have an Afghan government 21-member team to deal with Taliban, to have a talks. Taliban also nominated one of its leader that he will be talking on behalf of Taliban. So that is the thing. Afghan government also agreed to initial release of 1,500 soldiers and to negotiate on release of additional prisoners as a part of ongoing process. Moving on. Under the power sharing agreement reached between Ashraf Ghani and Abdullah in May 2020. Now this is Afghan government. Bit complications, but then I think you can have Afghan government, internal, not Taliban. In May 2020, Abdullah was named chairman of High Council for the National Reconciliation, a group that will have final say on whether to sign an agreement negotiated with the Taliban or not. So there are you 2 leader things. Afghan government में भी 2 organs है फिर, एक गनी और दूसरा अब्दुल्ला, right? So Abdullah के हाथ में है कि whether they should sign the any agreement negotiated with Taliban or not. So ये देखो complications कितना है. और तीसरा यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स है और तालिबान का भी अपना अपना है. In June 2020, Taliban and Afghan government confirmed that they will meet in Doha. So this is the place. Remember the place. For the first round of talks, the Afghan government, however, was careful in its framing of prospective meetings, emphasizing that no agreement or consensus has been reached on location for direct negotiations. So that they said it, but later in July, the Afghan government and Taliban observed a 3-day ceasefire in observance of Eid ul-Adha, and finally in September 2020, that is right now, representatives of the Afghan government and Taliban held a ceremony to mark the official start of peace talks in Doha. Got it? So that is why we are studying this. Okay, so we are here by September 2020. Representatives of the Afghan government and Taliban held a ceremony to mark the official start of peace talks in Doha. Now, with this peace talks, we have to see the implications. Now, before that, let us see some of the contentious issues, challenges, and concerns, okay, of their agreement, and then we will move on to India. The first one is implementing the US Taliban and US challenges and concerns. I wish you write down only the point, okay, या फिर notes website पे upload कर दूंगा, don't worry, but these points are important, not the detailed explanation of that, but the points. First of all, implementing the US Taliban and US Afghan government agreements. Okay, मतलब आपको क्या है, यहाँ पे सिर्फ US Afghan government में आप देखेंगे उसमें भी दो स्ट्रैंड्स हैं, बराबर है। तालिबान ऑब्वियसली उसके भी स्ट्रैंड्स हैं, बट वहां पे ठीक है एक एक बोल दिया, लेकिन उसके अलग अलग स्ट्रैंड्स बहुत हैं। यू हैव यूएस which is again like sometimes pro sometimes negative, so whatever the happening, so implementing अगर कुछ एग्रीमेंट भी बनता है तो उसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन कितना डिफिकल्ट होगा। bringing these all people into consensus is a difficult task, so that is a challenge, right? Then concerns about prisoners swap, again understand these are Talibani prisoners, okay, and they are there somewhere around 50,000 Talibani prisoners are there, and some of them are termed as too dangerous. Now if you are releasing these two dangerous people, then just consider what is going to happen, okay, matlab prisoner swap, how risky it can be, that is very simple to explain, that they are too dangerous, okay. And now there is a composition of future Afghan state and the government, ye kitna difficult hoga, the Afghan government and the Taliban, we need to address fundamental concerns about the ideology. Afghan government which can claim for the women's right and all those things, whereas Taliban ka to apna alag law hai, right? They don't believe in this ideology and all those things. So as well as broad ranging and practical concerns about power sharing, transitional justice, disarming, demobilizing, reintegrating and Taliban into Afghan security forces. मतलब तालिबान के लोग अफगान सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस में जाएंगे क्या? Okay, yes, Taliban can actually overpower the Afghan government. तो आप समझ रहे हैं, मतलब all these are like they are not simple concerns, right? So once again क्या हो रहा है कि आप इतना सब प्रयास करने के बाद there is what is at the stake, the whole idea of Afghanistan is at the stake, because पूरा का पूरा अफगानिस्तान में जितना भी किया गया है वो फिर से एक बार रिवर्स करके तालिबान फिर से गवर्नमेंट में है और फिर वहीं से शुरू फिर एक बार वॉर करना पड़ेगा, फिर all those things, so lot of complication. Taliban's stated goal for Afghanistan has been recreate the Islamic Emirate that was overthrown in 2001. उनका ऑब्जेक्टिव तो यही है ना, तो हम भी वही बोल रहे हैं इंडिया के साइड से कि भाई आप तालिबान से डील कर रहे हो, लेकिन तालिबान का तो ऑब्जेक्टिव पूरा अलग है ना। लाइक इंडिया कल जाके तालिबान में गवर्नमेंट भी बन जाए, अब यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा, क्योंकि यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स में वैसे भी मतलब यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स के साथ एग्रीमेंट है, तो वो दे विल नॉट अटैक यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स डायरेक्टली, बट इनडायरेक्टली व्हाट अबाउट द टेररिज्म, एंड कंट्री लाइक इंडिया इज एट द सबसे ज्यादा स्टेक तो इंडिया का है वहां पे, ओके और यहाँ पे भी इंडिया में टेररिज्म का प्रॉब्लम इतने सालों से फेस कर रहा है, तो ये तालिबान गवर्नमेंट आने के बाद क्या होगा? If the Taliban is serious about participating meaningfully in these negotiations, coming to power sharing agreement with Afghan government, it will have to be flexible and willing to compromise on its goal as well as others. So what do you need for the consensus? And reaching out a consensus is not a simple thing. Obviously, हमको भी पता है यार, हम दो लोगों के बीच में consensus पे जल्दी नहीं पहुंच सकते. ओके दो लोग एक चीज पे एग्री होना इतना सिंपल नहीं है, यहाँ तो कितने स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं, मतलब अफगान गवर्नमेंट भी बोल रहा हूँ तो अफगान गवर्नमेंट इज मेड अप ऑफ मेनी एथनिक ट्राइब्स एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स, इवन तालिबान इटसेल्फ जो अभी लीडर असाइन किया गया है वो लीडर को भी कितना सपोर्ट है, उनके भी बहुत से फ्रैक्शंस, सो ऑल मेस. The Taliban and the Afghan government face internal challenges that threaten their cohesion and credibility. The Afghan government is fragile, we all know. It has faced internal divisions over Ghani's acceptance of US-Taliban agreement and has been caught up in negotiations over the disputed outcome of September 2019 Afghan presidential election. So already Afghan government का अपना खुद का problem है. The power sharing agreement between them is altogether different. अब्दुल्ला और गनी, अब्दुल्ला बोलते हैं कि अगर मुझे नहीं साइन करना है तो गनी का क्या होगा? Okay, so all there are fractures. Further fractures in relationship would threaten the ability of Afghan government to present a unified front. So there is a chance of fractions between the Afghan government itself, because the power sharing is between two people. For the Taliban, internal divisions, now from the Taliban's point of view, internal divisions have complicated implementation of US-Afghan Taliban talks. About the Taliban meaningful कितना है, कितना चाहता है, मतलब तालिबान चाहता क्या है, रियल में वो पीस चाहता है या फिर तालिबान चाहता है कि नहीं ठीक है ये थोड़ा पीस मिल करते हैं, अफगानिस्तान में एक बार यूएस की फोर्सेस को निकाल देते हैं फिर तो हम ही राज करेंगे, अगर ऐसा उनका व्यू पॉइंट होगा, वी डोंट नो अबाउट द इंटेंशंस ऑफ तालिबान, हु कैन क्लेम, क्योंकि तालिबान का पूरा आइडियोलॉजी इज डिफरेंट, बिकॉज एज सेड ओवर हियर तालिबान इज नॉट अ मोनोलिथ कि एक लीडर के अंडर वो सब कुछ मान जाएगा. It has different fractions that will need to be acknowledged or accommodated in any negotiations. Some members of the Taliban have already refused to acknowledge the agreement, and some may be seeking to strengthen the ties with the Islamic State in Khorasan. Okay, you know, ISIS के बाद ये नया एक हो रहा है शुरू, Khorasan region, Islamic State जो raise हो रहा है. Because some of these factions may not be willing to compromise the prospect that their further sprinting within the movement could seriously hinder the efforts towards the peace. So the real integrity of every other stakeholder, apart from United States चाहता है कि हमारी forces वहां नहीं हो, लेकिन बाकी जो stakeholders हैं वो कितने serious है वो हम नहीं जानते. Understanding? Then what are the further challenges? Simple. Reintegrating the Taliban into Afghan security forces. Isn't that interesting? Taliban has been fighting against the United States. Now same is for supporting the Afghan government, and the same Taliban will now be supporting joining the armed forces. Okay, now if they get like here, finally after pursuing signed deal with the United States as a victory, the Taliban could prolong negotiations to appease the United States, biding its time while US military completes its withdrawal and enabling the troop to then ramp up its military campaign and attempt to overthrow the Afghan government. Taliban's recent escalation of violence not only raises questions about its ability to control the members of organization. Okay, Taliban is made up of fanatics, and if it is made up of fanatics, how can you control them? So obviously that is the point. And now if you get that into the things, now moving on, the domestic and the regional challenges, women's right. That's why I told you, five women have been nominated in the committees. Sorry. Now these five women, Taliban, will it be ready to give the women's right or the fundamental rights? Will the Taliban be able to give the role of to define what will be the role of civil society? Write down these points or get it from the notes. Later, बाकी explanation मत लिखना कहीं भी. ये points पे ही आप लिख सकते हो. Further governance and rule of law. Does Taliban किस law पे believe करता है? Okay, Sharia पे believe करता है या फिर Constitution पे believe करता है? Will Taliban agree on the Constitution which was framed in 2004? Okay, these are some of the challenges. Regional stability and the security. Okay, the stability of Afghanistan is inherently connected to the regional stability and security. Destabilizing trends in bordering countries and their possible spillover into Afghanistan. जैसे ईरान है, Central Asia, Middle East, जो भी है, उसका spillover effect कहाँ होता है? सबके लिए heaven Afghanistan है. Okay, would likely threaten progress on the peace process. Counter-terrorism, we don't know. Okay, counter-terrorism. Now, for example, while Afghanistan faces domestic challenges related to the counter-terrorism within its own border, the transnational nature of the terrorism, means that several terrorist networks, including Al-Qaeda and Islamic State, are still active in the Afghanistan and across the border. Let's say Taliban agrees, but what about these organizations? Okay, in Middle East and South Asia, उनके तो base अभी भी अफगानिस्तान में. Preventing, will Taliban act against them? That is a big question mark. Okay, preventing terrorism from spreading within Afghanistan has been a core objective of the United States. And how to address terrorism has been a large point of discussion in negotiations when you are actually discussing with the Taliban. Because that has one time you have termed that as a terrorist organization. So what you are doing to control the terrorist, are you going to talk with the terrorist? Interesting it is. Again, as I tell always, United States creates the mess, which it doesn't have this thing. Now, moving on, regional perspectives. With these regional perspectives, to get the idea of what China, Pakistan are at the stake, and then we will move on to our final point, that is regarding the India. Now, the future of peace in Afghanistan will depend on how major regional powers, including Russia, China, India, Pakistan, European Union, all our stakeholders act in a way that could undermine the peace process or propel it forward. How these people act, that is going to decide the peace process in Afghanistan. Like if India is raising a concerns about talks with the Taliban, tensions among major powers, the United States, China, the European Union, India and Russia. Like right now, India, China are having a tension. So China's stake in Afghanistan and India's stake in Afghanistan, they are different. So again, that can be a conflict. And others are increasing, which could affect the outcome of Afghan peace process. So it's not a simple process. Now, why China? What is China's viewpoint? China shares a border with Afghanistan, obviously, is interested in a stable Afghanistan that facilitates the growth of Belt and Road Initiative. Okay, and in counter-terrorism initiatives that prevent terrorist spillover into Chinese Western province, the Uyghurs and all those things. Okay, so China का stake positively देखा जाए तो it's good. They want Afghanistan, so their Belt and Road Initiative can agree. So इतना point याद में रखना China का stake, because if the question comes from the China, Pakistan, United States viewpoint, आपको एक point तो लिखना आना चाहिए. What is China's stake? China's interest into that. India often use India का तो मैं detail में जाऊंगा, बस यहाँ पे एक point दे रहा. Afghanistan, through its relationship with Pakistan, is interested in containing terrorism and checking Pakistan's power in the region. Having Pakistan powerful in the Afghanistan, जैसे पाकिस्तान बनेगा ही powerful अगर तालिबान वहाँ पे power में आता है. So then again, it will be an issue for India. We will discuss that in detail. Pakistan, which shares a long and complex history with Afghanistan, must balance a number of interests and relationships, including the United States and international finances. Like we all know, Pakistan had to suffer a lot because Laden was found. It was a shame on the Pakistan that they were speaking such high and that Laden was found in their dead. So balancing United States and fight against terrorism has been always like it is complicated. While contending with domestic politics that often oppose the involvement of these powers in Pakistani and Afghan affairs, because you have to balance the domestic people also over there, because many people in the Pakistan will be against the against United States and all those things. Okay, so I hope you have had a perspective. And now let's go back and let's discuss India-Afghanistan relations. Okay, so we are at our last point. I hope you are getting it. Okay, समझ में आ रहा है? Any questions up till now? Just give me a moment. I will have a water and I will. Okay, we will continue. Okay, India-Afghanistan relations. Any questions? If not, let's move on. Okay, so bilateral relations between Afghanistan and India have always remained strong and friendly. आपको पता होगा, खुदा गवाह जो मूवी था, वो अमिताभ बच्चन ने अफगानिस्तान में जाके शूट किया था और तब से हमारे बॉलीवुड में भी रिप्रेजेंटेशन रहा है. कल्चरल ट्राइज थ्रू बॉलीवुड एंड क्रिकेट अफगानिस्तान का. ओके, खुदा गवाह एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स. खुदा गवाह था और एक कौन सा बॉलीवुड का ये है, दिस जंजीर में प्राण. ओके, सो वी हैड कल्चर बॉलीवुड एंड क्रिकेट. आज जब आप इमेजिन कीजिए, मैंने आईपीएल में या फिर इंडिया अफगानिस्तान में स्टेडियम क्रिकेट करता है, ये करता है, तो पीपल के पीपल कांटेक्ट होता है. इवन लाइक मी, when I was doing my masters, I had three students actually from Afghanistan. Physics मेरे साथ पढ़ते थे because of those scholarships and all those things. अभी recently, मतलब 2008, 9 to 11 की जो batch थी, okay, in university. So I had students from Afghanistan in my class. Okay, now because India, that is again India's contribution over there. Now, the Republic India was the first country to recognize the Soviet-backed Democratic Republic of Afghanistan in 90s, 80s, and though the relations they went into problem after the Taliban assumed the power over there. So Russia supported जो अफगानिस्तान में गवर्नमेंट था उसका इंडिया सपोर्टेड रहा है, लेकिन तालिबान आने के बाद इंडिया के रिलेशंस जो है उसके साथ स्ट्रेंड हुए. Obviously, there India aided the overthrow of Taliban and became the largest provider of humanitarian and reconstruction aid to the present day of Islamic Republic of Afghanistan. Remember this, even today, India is the largest contributor of humanitarian and reconstruction aid in Afghanistan. Indians are working in right now also on various projects and rebuilding the Afghanistan, even from schools to roads to, this Trump said one thing, like India has built only a library, who is going to read a books in Afghanistan when they are bombing? The Trump is very ill-conceived person, so don't worry about him. Okay. But frankly speaking, India has done a lot of work. I will show you actually. India has actually helped Afghanistan in number of ways ever since the Taliban were pushed out of power. Like India gives a lot of scholarship to the Afghanistan students. They come to India, like the students who were there from Afghanistan, they were from the Bagram region. And when we used to ask कि आप यहाँ से जाके क्या करेंगे, तो वो बोलते थे we will be very grateful for the Indian government, क्योंकि अभी हम यहाँ MSc कर रहे हैं फिजिक्स में, उनका फिजिक्स तो पूरा पर्शियन में हुआ था, तो अभी हम वहाँ जाके टीचर वगैरह बनेंगे. So that's how we rebuild. So directly, indirectly भी हम rebuild कर रहे हैं. तो उनके लोगों को यहाँ आके ट्रेनिंग दे, वो वहाँ जाके अपना बिल्ड करेंगे. And you may be surprised actually, आप रामचंद्र गुहा का एक किताब है, उसमें रेफरेंस है कि कल्चरली भी हम इतने टाइप हैं. जो स्मृति ईरानी का फेमस जो सीरियल था, ओके, कहानी घर घर की, ऐसा कहा जाता है कि जब वो सीरियल अफगानिस्तान में लगता था, ओके, तब बॉम्बिंग कम हुआ करता था, क्योंकि सभी लोग वो सीरियल देखते थे. This has been written by Ramchandra Guha. ये मेरा नहीं बता रहा, आप रामचंद्र गुहा को ट्वीट करके पूछ सकते हैं. But this is the reality of what Ramchandra Guha has written in his book Patriots and Partisans. Okay, so this is how cultural things help. And now तो अभी तो क्रिकेट खेल रहे हैं. Now these are the projects that are India's projects in the Afghanistan. मैंने पूरा लिस्ट दिया है, वो नोट्स पे आपको ऊपर मिल जाएगा. I'm not going to go in detail except few. The 16th one, the Zarang Dilram Road. Now this is very important road from India's viewpoint and from the Afghanistan viewpoint also. और पाकिस्तान को इससे बहुत दर्द होता है कि हम लोग ये कर रहे हैं. It connects the border town of Zarang and the city of Delram, thereby establishing better communication between Iranian border and Afghanistan. Okay, the ring road which it connects. So this is one of the very important. Now we have investment over there in every other telephone से लेके copper mining तक हम वहाँ पे हैं. So India has a huge investment. Now let's see what are the risks of in USA Taliban agreements or intra-Afghan negotiations. What are the risks for India? This is the point. This is the question. Right? First of all, terrorism. Okay, first of all is terrorism. One of the 4 guiding mentioned in the joint declaration. Now, what is the point? In the agreement, it is mentioned that the guarantee to prevent the use of Afghan soil by any international terrorist groups will not be allowed. So that Taliban will not allow, Afghan government will not allow use of Afghanistan soil for the international terrorists. So that is one of the agreement. But how well intentioned these words are. Okay, like in reality, what may happen, we don't know. There is little clarity on how these guarantees will be upheld. After all, the factions to be reconciled will also include those elements who have fronted the ISI's war against India from within Afghanistan. So ISI is having a role over there, and obviously what will be there? They are also the stakeholders. So what they will think about India? The evidence supporting this claim is overwhelming, that they will be against the India. There is one organization, Haqqani Group, which continues to be the best armed and trained Taliban faction, has engineered and carried out attacks in India, Indian assets, including the Indian embassy in Kabul. इस पे जो attack किया है Haqqani Group, which is there in the deal, and it is always against the India. It has attacked the Indian embassy in Kabul. So these are some of the examples like terrorism, however, and it has close relationship with the ISI. So you can understand with that also. Now the security vacuum. Now if USA leaves, okay, USA, let's assume USA is now leaving the force, the Afghanistan. If it is leaving the Afghanistan, then what will happen in this region? Okay, the vacuum that will be created. How this vacuum will be filled? This vacuum can be filled like branch of the Islamic State Khorasan, a branch of self-proclaimed Islamic State operating in South Asia and Central Asia. This group's ability to attract radicalized individuals, including from India, and recruit well-trained. जैसे ISIS करता था वैसे ये भी करेगा. So rise of fundamentalism हो रहा है. So what is the point? Rise of fundamentalism. Okay, you have a scope. An example क्या है? तो गुरुद्वारा अटैक जो हुआ था काबुल में, उसमें इंडिया का एक बंदा था. Okay, जो काबुल में मार्च 2020 में हुआ था. Now these are the people who are radicalized. So radicalized करने वाली institutions अगर इतने पास में है, you can understand the situation. So that is the problem. Then second is the Pakistani influence risk. The ISI's increasing influence in the Afghanistan. The nexus between Taliban and the ISI's underscores Pakistani increasing influence within the country. The Taliban leadership may not always see eye to eye with Pakistani state and the ISI, but ISI's influence over the Taliban is undeniable. पूरा सपोर्ट तो ISI करता है. हम इंडिया का स्टैंड हमेशा से ये रहा, तो इंडिया के लिए पाकिस्तानी इन्फ्लुएंस बढ़ेगा, मतलब इंडिया को टेररिस्ट सिचुएशन और बढ़ेगी. Given the potential of Taliban representation in Kabul in the near future, this state of affairs is naturally far from comfortable for India, because you cannot, मतलब आप क्या कर रहे हो? तो पाकिस्तान सांप को दूध पिला रहा है और वो सांप कहाँ पे छोड़ने वाले, तो वो इंडिया में छोड़ने वाले हैं. Okay, that is how it is. So that Pakistani influence. And then the third point is divided Afghan government. Divided Afghan government है, तो वहां पे अगर स्टेबिलिटी नहीं है, तो अगर सरकार बदलती है, गनी एंड अब्दुल्ला अभी है, आगे भी जाके डिविजन हो सकता है, तो वो किस तरह से इंडिया को रिएक्ट करेंगे वो नहीं बता सकते हम. Okay, so all things are what risky. Okay, and now what has been the United States saying to India on Afghanistan? It is saying during his recent visit to India, Trump reportedly provided Prime Minister Narendra Modi with certain guarantees about Taliban reconciliation. Guarantees दे रहे हैं, certain guarantees. India need not worry. This is what the United States is saying. okay, is how one officially summarized Trump's message to Modi. Most Indian experts make clear that this deal is entirely one-sided. Essentially, the argument goes, this is withdrawal agreement that has left Afghanistan at the mercy of both Taliban and Pakistan. क्योंकि वहां की सरकार टिकेगी नहीं. Okay, you have to understand. Again, I am telling you, USA is doing a mistake because of its wrong things. What it is doing, it is saying that we are dealing with Taliban. India considers Taliban a terrorist group. Okay, and if you are dealing with terrorist groups, शायद से USA पे हमला नहीं करेगा वो. लेकिन what is the guarantee that it will not get involved with the other countries? So what is USA doing is USA messing up the things a lot for countries like India, and that's why India is reportedly saying this in the international platforms, or India wants itself to be in these discussions and deals and that all those things. So that's why the news was there about today. So if India enters into that deals and all those things, let's see what happens. That will be something new. But I hope the news आने के बाद फिर बाद में discussion करने का आपको जरूर नहीं रहेगा. Okay, whatever there is that we can do. But then what is it? Like after all this, what is the conclusion? Okay, तो agreement तो होने वाला है, risk भी है. तो हम रिस्क को क्या कर सकते हैं कि रिस्क एक्सेप्ट करके रिस्क को कितना कम करना है ये हम सोच सकते हैं. ओके, तो उसके लिए मैंने आपको 3 पॉइंट दिए हैं. दैट इज फर्स्ट वन इज बॉर्डर डिप्लोमेटिक एंगेजमेंट. Okay, that is India should consider appointing a special envoy dedicated to Afghanistan reconciliation. The envoy can ensure that Indian views are expressed at every meeting, broaden engagement with the Afghan government and political actors, and reach out to certain Taliban representatives also. So India, rather than saying Taliban से बाहर रहने से अच्छा है, India should also start talks with them, reach out to certain Talibani leaders. क्योंकि वैसे भी अगर एग्रीमेंट होता है तो इंडिया कहाँ है इसमें? सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट तो ये रहेगा ना कि इंडिया कहाँ है इसमें. सो इंडिया अगर बोलता है कि नहीं ये हम इसमें से, वो तो आइडियलिस्टिक हो जाएगा कि वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू डील विद तालिबान. बट यूएसए इज डीलिंग, अभी उनका एग्रीमेंट भी हो जाएंगे, ये हो जाएंगे. और इंडिया अगर ये चांस मिस कर देता है तो फिर अगेन देयर विल बी अ प्रॉब्लम. सो दीज आर द engage in the diplomatic engagement. So you have to get yourself, India should focus that anyhow they should get into these discussions and all those things. It should also continue with the training and the investments that are going on in India. कुछ भी हो जाए, India should provide more military training to Afghanistan security forces and invest in long-term capacity building programs. उससे होता क्या है basically friends? It will help India, it will create a what you can say, India के लोगों के बारे में सॉफ्ट डिप्लोमेसी, या फिर ये आप बोलिए तो लॉन्ग टर्म कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग. स्कूल बनता है तो वहां पढ़ने वाला बंदा ये सोचेगा ही नहीं ये इंडिया ने बनाया. तो देयर विल बी अ सॉफ्टर साइड फॉर इंडिया, दैट हैज बीन देयर. मतलब क्रिकेट जैसे ही, क्रिकेट में अगर आईपीएल में अगर एक प्लेयर खेलता है अफगानिस्तान के जो खेल रहे हैं, तो ये अफगानिस्तान पूरा देख रहा है ना, उसको पूरा इंडिया को देख रहा है कि आपके साइड में है. तो दिस टाइप ऑफ थिंग्स डू हेल्प अ लॉट. It should actively support and invest in National Directorate of Security, whatever these are, but you just get into those. And the last one, work with and through others. India should not only, okay, India should not only think about itself going unilaterally, but also take the help of other engagements with it can take from Iran, Russia, and explore the opportunities for cooperation. So it can, like if other countries are having, we have the possibility with the Iran, and we have the possibility with the Russia also, that with Russia is also involved into these discussions and all those things. So we can go through Russia's channel or the Iran's channel, and even with China, but China is, like right now the situation is not good, and find common ground with United States and Afghanistan future. So these all major stakeholders, they should be involved, and they should be discussing what will be the implications of this deal by the United States, and that's how they should be thinking, talking to United States in that terms only. United States को अकेला बोलेंगे तो United States सुनेगा नहीं. Okay, now उन्होंने created problem है, obviously, पर भोगना सबको पड़ रहा है. समझ रहे हैं आप? This does not mean forcing competitive interests to align. It means investing in a wider diplomatic initiative with view to carve out areas of convergence. कहाँ पे converge हम हो सकते हैं, वो यहाँ पे किया जा सकता है. So this is the topic, what is at stake, and I think with this lengthy discussion, you must have got onto, really got into the issue at core. Issue at core आपको समझा होगा शायद से, ऐसे मैं सोच रहा हूँ. Okay, have you got the issue at core? आगे न्यूज आते रहेंगे, आते रहेंगे, आते रहेंगे. आपको यहाँ इशू समझ आता है, यही नोट्स मैं वेबसाइट पे अपलोड करता हूँ. Any questions? Atish Shaskut, isn't it will be contradicting stand by India's perspective, who doesn't support Afghan on table and to go into negotiations. Doesn't support Afghan. See, you have to take it from the realistic viewpoint. Who doesn't support the Afghan? मतलब I am not getting clearly ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा कि आप कहना क्या चाहते हैं. Okay, doesn't support Taliban on table and go to negotiations into. Now see, that is the point ना, कि कौन नहीं सपोर्ट कर रहा है तालिबान को. इंडिया की जो स्टेक्स पे है ना, इंडिया का जो स्टेक पे है वो बाकी किसी कंट्री का नहीं है. पाकिस्तान तालिबान चाहता है, रशिया ने भी तालिबान के साथ इनिशिएट किया है, चाइना को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं तालिबान से, तो प्रॉब्लम इंडिया को है ना अकेले. So who are the other countries who are against that? It is only India who doesn't want Taliban because India is at stake ना. So बाकी countries, रशिया ने भी इनिशिएट किया है टॉक्स. So बस प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि इंडिया अकेला पड़ रहा है यहाँ पे, क्योंकि इंडिया की इश्यूज अलग है. ओके, I hope this was beneficial to you. We'll continue tomorrow with another issue. Thank you everyone and good night.